Hello everyone and welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. I hope I am loud and clear and you can hear me as well. I am Pradip Sir, your BA mentor and guide, and I welcome all of you, all those who are watching this program to BYJU'S exam prep, India's leading online test prep platform for all UG exams. We try to deliver best of the best content so that you can come out with flying colors in whatever exams you aspire for and you plan to write. So with that being said, let us head back to the session today. And as you know that we have been meeting of late and we have been talking about different facets of grammar. We have been taking up different concepts. Hello, am I audible? Okay. Am I audible? Can you hear me, all of you? All those who are watching, can you hear me? I hope there is no technical glitch. All right. So if you can hear me once again, I welcome you back to the platform. And as I was speaking with you, we are going to discuss some very important question sets as far as subject verb agreement is concerned. And we know that grammar happens to be one of the most important areas when it comes to exams like IPMAT, CUET, BBA exams and all. So out of all the topics that grammar entails, we are going to be talking about one very important area of grammar, that is subject verb agreement. And in my last two sessions, if you recall, we did a detailed analysis of all the concepts that concerns the subject verb agreement chapter. So in this class today, we will take up some practice questions of all the concepts that we have discussed, and this is going to be part one of the series as far as the practice questions based on subject verb agreement is concerned. So the very idea is to give you a detailed and comprehensive practice on all the concepts that we have discussed on subject verb agreement. So can we start the session? Let's hit the questions. So as you can see, we are going to be talking about subject verb agreement, practice question, and this is part one in the series. All right. So what is the funda? The funda is to find out which part of the sentence has an error. And if there is no error in the sentence, you have to mark no error. So what you will see a sentence coming across, a sentence will flash on your screen, and the sentence will have different parts. So you have to find out after reading the sentence carefully, which part of the sentence may have an error. Of course, you may find the error here and there, but you have to, specifically pinpoint the area of the question that may have a problem, and that part is the flawed part. That would be the erroneous part. And if at all your answer is that, okay, so there is no problem with the question, you can mark no error as your answer option. With that being said, can we start the session? Let me take you to the very first question. Let's read the question carefully. I'll give you 25 seconds to read the question and then we will discuss the problem. Let's read the question. So don't shy away from talking to me. The more we have discussions, the better we understand things. So this is the first question for you. It says many a building in two localities were razed to the ground, and the last part is no error. So how do you look at the sentence? Let us understand. In spotting the errors, what do they do? Let's consider this to be one whole sentence, and this sentence has been broken into parts. Like many a building, this is part 1. In two localities were razed, this is part 2. And to the ground, this is part 3. And part 4 is no error. You just have to guess which part of the question has a problem. All right. So let us see. Let us read the question. Many a building in two localities were razed to the ground. Now, if you remember, we took up a concept in subject verb agreement, and the concept was based on this expression. Whenever we use many, a, or an as an expression. So whenever we have many, a, or an as an expression, it always takes a singular subject, and therefore the verb used with the singular subject must also be singular. So if you have any sentence starting with many, a, or an, please be absolutely sure of one thing, that it must take a singular subject and the verb used must also be singular. So in all the questions that we are going to read, we will try to find out the subject first of all. So locate the subject. So in this case, what is the subject? Many a building. This is the subject. Okay. And what is the subject? This is singular. And since the subject is singular, now keep reading. Many a building in two localities were razed to the ground. They were demolished. They were broken. They were razed to the ground. Now, if the verb is were, this is the verb. Now you have to find out whether this verb is used for localities or is it used for many a building. If you read the sentence carefully, you will see that the verb is used for many a building and not locality. And since the subject is singular, as we have already discussed, therefore the verb used must not be were, it should be was, because singular subject takes singular verb. So what is the answer? The answer over here is many a building in two localities was razed to the ground. So what is the answer option? The answer option is 2. So quite easily done. This was the first question. In the second question also, we are going to do the same thing. We will find out the subject first of all, and then we will see whether the verb in question agrees correctly with the subject or not. Let us look at the next question. All right, here you go. Let us read the question very carefully. I hope you have read the question. Now, what is the answer? Do you think it is option 1, option 2, 3, 4, or do you think the sentence has no error? What is your answer? Let's read the question. People have a right to protest, but at the same time, each of them have to remember his duty too. People have a right to protest. So what are we using? We are using a plural noun over here. But at the same time, each of them have to remember his duty too. Now, can we locate the verb and the subject? So if you look at this part, right, we are saying each of them have to remember, and then the latter part of the sentence. I want your attention to this part. Have is a verb, and to remember, it's a 2 plus verb combo, and that is why it is called an infinitive. It is a verb form, but it is called infinitive. What is an infinitive? A verb form that can be used as a noun. That is an infinitive. So what are we going to focus on? We are going to focus on this verb have. Now let's go back to the subject. The subject is each of them. Now if you remember, in my last class, I told you that 4 words, whether we have each, every, either, or neither, whenever we talk about these 4 words, they should always be treated as singular. They should always be treated as singular. These are distributive words. They can act as pronouns, they can act as adjectives. So each of them, in each of them, let's focus on each, because this is the main verb. Sorry, the main subject. And since each is the main subject and it is singular in nature, that is why have is wrong. We should say each of them has to remember his duty too. So each of them should not take have. It should have been has, because has is a singular verb. Hence, the problem lies in option 4. In place of has, in place of have, please make it has. Each of them has to remember his duty too. This should be the answer. All right. So the technique was to locate the subject. We located the subject, all right. It was each, and that is why it must agree with the right kind of verb. And we required a singular verb in this particular sentence. So this was question number 2 for us. So 2 different questions, 2 different flavors. So in your exam, be ready to be bombarded with a variety of questions. But if you have the basics right, no question will be uphill, no question will be difficult for you. So you have to work on the basics, because basics is king. You've got to be working on the basics, big time. All right, let's look at the next question. This is a very simple question, and I hope all of you should get it right. It says bread and butter is wholesome food, no error. Hey Shreya, how are you? Shreya, we are on BYJU'S exam prep platform and we offer excellent online sessions only. But there are many coachings that offer offline classes, but we over here try to provide you online classes so that you don't have to cover long distances, waste time. Stay back home and enjoy the sessions and learn at the same time. I hope you're enjoying the session. Okay, so what is the sentence? The sentence is bread and butter is wholesome food. Do you think it is right? Do you think it is wrong? क्या दिक्कत है इस sentence में? Is there any problem with the sentence? Tell me. All right. So if you remember, let me give you a revision as far as question number 3 is concerned. It talks about a very important concept. Okay. Let's go back to the basics. Remember, let's say X and Y are singular subjects. All right. Let's say these are singular subjects. And let's say XY and YZ are plural subjects. Okay. Now let me give you 2 examples. Now let's say there are 2 singular subjects, X, Y. X is singular, Y is singular, and subject in between you have and, the conjunction, and that is why we are using a plural verb. But this rule comes with an exception, and what is the exception? Let's see. The exception is, let's say there are 2 singular subjects again, X, Y, connected by and. It will take a singular verb when, understand, the condition is if the idea proposed is one or singular. Now, what do I mean by if the idea proposed is one or singular? Who are Rohan and Raju? They are friends. So what is the idea coming out? Friends. What is this idea? It is plural. But if you look at the sentence, it says bread and butter is what? It's a food. It's food. And when you say food, food is a singular idea. Bread and butter together gives you a healthy food. Since we have X, that is bread, butter, Y, joined by the conjunction and it is giving you a singular idea. And are we using a singular verb over here? The answer is yes, we are using a singular verb. So, it fulfills the second condition. When X and Y are singular subjects, but they talk about a singular idea or one idea, in that case, what should we do? We should use a singular verb. Are we using a singular verb? The answer is yes. And that is why the answer should be no error. This sentence is just fine. Right? You may not have error every time in a sentence. So, no error is also an option. This has to be kept in mind. So, question number 3, quite easily done. Can we move on to the next question? समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Okay. I'm trying to keep it very simple. And today I am taking up very easy questions. In the next session, the questions are going to be trickier and it will be more fun solving them. All right. Let's look at question number 4. Okay. Oh, Shreya has answered. It is 4, Shreya. Absolutely right. Let's look at question number 4. And by the way, if you are enjoying the session, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe our channel. All right. So, question number 4 says, one of the demerits of modern education are that the poor people are deprived of it. So, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3 or is it 4? What's your answer? All right, the sentence says one of the demerits. Demerits, disadvantages. Shreya has marked 2. All right, Shreya, thank you. And guess what? You are absolutely right. The answer is 2. Well done, Shreya. One of the demerits of modern education are that the poor people are deprived of it. They are deprived of modern education. Now, what is the concept? The concept is whenever we use this expression, one of the, right? In one of the main verb is one. Hence, it guarantees the use of a singular verb. It guarantees the use of a singular verb. One of them must always take a singular verb. Are we using a singular verb? No. So 2 has a problem. We should have said is. One of the demerits of modern education is that poor people are deprived of it. All right. So the answer option is 2. Quite easily done. So there is one more concept that we try to learn and talk about, and it is also based on one of the same concept, and the next question will be based on the same concept. Let us see if we can answer this question or not. All right. Let us now look at sentence number 5, question 5. It says, Mrs. Shukla, the socialite, was one of the passengers who was on board the ship. And you have to tell me whether the sentence is right or not. Can we have the answers for this question now? Mrs. Shukla, the socialite, was one of the passengers who was on board the ship, and the answer is no error. Anyone? आसान है, कर सकते हैं आप? Okay. So let us first of all understand the concept, and then I will tell you what the right answer option is. Shreya has marked 1. I'm so sorry, Shreya. We are wrong in this case. थोड़ी सी गलती हो गई, है ना? All right. Okay. Always remember. Let me give you 2 sentences. One of the students who did well is Hari. Okay. One of the students who did well is Hari. So is agrees with 1. This concept is clear because one of them will always take a singular verb. We just discussed it, right? But if I say Hari is one of those students who has done well. Hari is one of those students who has done well. Now look at is. This verb is used for Hari. Hari is singular, so the verb used must also be singular. But I want your attention over here. Now, what is who? What is who? Who in this sentence is a relative pronoun, right? और relative pronoun के साथ एक बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि वो जिसके साथ बैठता है उसी का दोस्त बन जाता है, right? Whoever he sits with, he becomes his friend. So look at the position of who. Who is placed right next to students. Now you tell me, students, is this singular or plural? The answer is, it is plural. And if students is plural, the pronoun also becomes plural. Why? Because it qualifies a plural subject. Since who is plural, then what should be the verb? The verb must also be plural. We must say have. So what is the idea? The idea is all those students who have done well, Hari is one of them. Similarly, Mrs. Shukla, the socialite, was one of the passengers who, now you must stop yourself over here, okay? Let's consider who is what? It's a relative pronoun. किसके साथ बैठा है? ये passengers के साथ बैठा है. Passengers क्या है? Passengers plural है. तो who क्या बनेगा? Who भी plural बनेगा. अगर who plural है तो verb भी plural होगा. So in place of was, we must use word over here. So what is the answer? What is the right way of reading the sentence? It should read like this. Mrs. Shukla, the socialite, was one of the passengers who were on board the ship. It means passengers who were on board the ship, all those passengers who were on board the ship, Mrs. Shukla was one of them. So, please watch out for the use of this relative pronoun concept. Alright, so the verb used must be plural, hence your answer should be 3. Was it tough? No. Was it tricky? Slightly. So one must understand the trick over here. So in place of was, use were. I hope it is clear to you. Have you understood? Okay. So these were some of the questions that, deals with sentence correction, and the sentences were, broken into fragments. Now, in the next category, we will talk about the same concept, but the set of questions will be different and they will be differently drafted. They will be differently composed. Look at the heading. The heading says, choose the option which is grammatically correct and expresses the meaning of the sentence. It should be incorrect. Grammatically incorrect and expresses the meaning of the sentence. So you have to choose the option which is grammatically incorrect. All right? Okay. Let us look at the question. The question says, there is no doubt that the majority of workers is in favor of the new Labor Act. So one says there is means this part, is in favor of is part 2, which means this part, no doubt that this part, and fourth says no correction required. All right? Okay. Nayan, was your answer to the previous question, or are you answering this, or is it the answer for question number 6, dear? And by the way, welcome to the session. There is no doubt that the majority of workers is in favor of the new Labor Act. What should be the answer? Nayan has marked 2. Okay, thank you, Nayan. Got it. And guess what? Nayan is absolutely right. Right? Majority of workers is in the favor of? Well, Nayan, the concept, Shreya, the concept is not on articles, the concept is based on subject verb agreement. Majority of workers is what? Plural. Okay, this expression is plural. Hence, a plural verb must be used. Right? So, is would be wrong. I should have said are. Yes, Vivek, absolutely right. And welcome to the session. बिल्कुल ठीक आंसर है आपका. There is no doubt that the majority of workers are in favor of the new Labor Act. तो हमें ये देखना है कि कौन सा असली में सब्जेक्ट है. Absolutely right. R होगा विवेक. Understood. Thank you. So Vivek has answered R होगा. ठीक है. All right. So easy question था. Yes or no? Okay. एक और देखें. मजा आए. सो ये आपका आंसर है. 2 इज इन फेवर ऑफ नहीं होगा, तो ये गलत हो गया क्योंकि हमें इनकरेक्ट चूज करना था. ओके, नेक्स्ट. इसमें भी हमें इनकरेक्ट चूज करना है. लेट अस रीड द क्वेश्चन. ओके, question 7. None of my colleagues are interested to participate in this event that calls for horse riding skills. Is it 1? Nayan, okay. देखते हैं नयन. थैंक यू फॉर द ऑप्शन. आपने 1 मार्क किया. ऑलराइट, चलिए देख लेते हैं. What about the others? Come on, participate करो. ऑलराइट, in question number 7, अब अगर तुम ध्यान से पढ़ोगे, seems like 1. Shreya says seems like 1. Okay, Shreya, let me see if both of you, Nayan and you, are right or not. Let's see. Now, what is step number 1? Let's play a game. Step number 1 is locate the subjects. Locate the subjects. Now, this sentence has 2 subjects. None of my colleagues and event. Okay, so none of my colleagues का मतलब क्या हुआ? Not even one. Yes. So if the expression is none of my colleagues, which means not even one, how should you treat this subject? Should you treat this subject as singular or plural? The answer is you should treat this subject as singular. All right. And what is the verb coming after it? Are interested. Well, if the subject is singular, can we use are interested? You tell me. So have you understood the trick? You have to break the subject into simplest of words. All right. So none of my colleagues means one, means singular. So the verb used must also be singular. It should be is. So are does not make any sense. Have you understood the concept? The second subject is event. Event that calls for. Calls for is an idiom that means requires. एक ऐसा इवेंट जिसमें हॉर्स राइडिंग स्किल्स की जरूरत होती है. So event is singular. So calls, this verb is also singular. So this verb is absolutely right. So we had two subjects, none of my colleagues, and then event. So this one is right, this one is wrong. It should not be are, it should be is. That is why 3 has a problem. In place of are, make it is. I hope this question is clear to you. Okay. Was it tricky? Slightly, but pretty interesting. Yes? Okay. That was question number 7 for us. तो करते रहेंगे तो आसान होता चला जाएगा. Okay? It is the concept that matters at the end of the day, guys. All right. Next one. Let's look at this question. I am sure that neither the house nor its contents is for sale. Please let me know what you think about this sentence. I am sure that neither the house nor its contents is for sale. Well, Shreya has marked 2. Thank you, Shreya. All right. What about the others? Look, the concept is based on neither nor. All right. The concept is based on neither nor. Nayan has also marked 2. Thank you, Nayan. Okay. Concept ऐसे चलेगा. मान लेते हैं हमने कहा neither x nor yz या फिर neither xy nor z. Ideally, what do we do? Ideally, what do we do? We use a verb that agrees with the second subject in number and person. All right. So what do we do? Whenever you join two sentences using neither nor are correlative conjunctions. We call them correlative conjunctions. This is what they are known as. Either or, neither nor, both and, they all are correlative conjunctions. Okay. So the rule says that make the verb agree with the second subject in number and person. But if you have a plural subject, right, in neither nor case, make the plural subject agree with the verb. So in this case, I am sure that neither the house, it is X, nor its contents, it is YZ, means plural. So should it be is for sale? No. The answer is it should be are for sale. Why? Because the second subject is plural. Hence, this has a problem. The answer is 2. Most of you have answered it as 2. Congratulations. This is the answer. This was question number 8 for us. Okay. So, whenever you come across questions based on neither nor, keep the concept that we have just discussed. All right. Next one. Let's read the question. It says, the scheme which will be launched during the next 2 years require an additional investment of 100 crore. The scheme which will be launched during the next 2 years require an additional investment of 100 crore. Okay, come on. Let us quickly have the answers. Alka has marked 3, no error. Thank you, Alka. Nayan says 3, no error. All right. Okay, now I have a question for all of you. You become my teachers. You become my teacher. All of you. Okay. So I'm asking you as a student that please help me locate the verb. Where is the verb? Where is the verb in this particular sentence? Will anyone help me? So you are my teacher, I am your student, so please help me with the verb. Where is the verb? I want to see the verb. So एक गेम खेल रहे हैं हम लोग टीचर स्टूडेंट का, है ना? चलो, any answer? Okay, you tell me guys. Require an additional investment. Is this not the verb? Okay, require. This is the verb. And what is the subject of this verb? What is the subject of this verb? The subject of this verb is the scheme. This is the subject. Are you with me? Yes or no? The scheme require an additional investment of 100 crore. Now tell me guys, what is scheme? Scheme is singular. Yes. Since scheme is singular, should the verb be require or should it be requires? What should it be? I think you know the answer. It should be requires. You have to make the verb plural so that it agrees with scheme. So इस sentence में क्या देखा हमने? Main subject और main verb के बीच में एक बहुत बड़ा distance था, right? And whenever there is a gap between the main subject and the main verb, so we have this error cropping up, error of proximity. We call it error of proximity. What is error of proximity? Proximity means closeness. So whenever there is a distinct gap between the main subject and the main verb, error of proximity will crop up. So हमें क्या चाहिए? Requires नहीं है, so 4 has a problem. Okay, होना चाहिए था requires. It is not 3. I hope it is clear to all of you. Yes or no? Right? So always try to find out the main subject. Locate the subject. Subject क्या है? Right? Subject क्या है? Right? So whenever somebody offers you a job, 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, okay, we'll give you 10 lakh rupees as your CTC. Try to find out what is to be done. क्या करना है? Right? Try to find out the job description. Over here, what is the subject and where is the subject? This is the subject. That is why the verb should be singular. Got it? How is my grammar so good? Oh, I teach you people, so I learn from my students. I learn from you, Shreya. I learn from Nayan. I learn from Alka. I learn from you all. Okay? That's why my grammar is okay. All right? Okay. Let us now look at question number 10, and this is going to be really interesting. Okay? Let us see question number 10. The genotypes of organisms represents its exact genetic makeup, that is, the particular set of genes it possesses. Read the question very carefully. If you are enjoying the session, please hit the like button, all of you. That means a lot. Now, an IPMAT is going to be an online exam. Most of the exams are online, dear. So, we have to prepare accordingly. All right. Have you read the sentence? This is a very interesting sentence. No, Nayan, you will be assigned an official center where you will have to go and appear for the exam. Okay, let us look at the question. The genotypes of organisms represents its exact genetic makeup, that is, the particular set of genes that it possesses. Now, I want your attention to this pronoun, its, it, and the verb possesses. Now, what does it refer to? What does it refer to? It refers to genotypes. Yes or no? And what is it? It is singular. It means if the pronoun is singular, and look at the verb also, possesses, it's a singular verb. So they all point out the subject genotypes, but we have a plural subject. And most of the components, pronouns and the verbs, are used in singular. Since the pronouns and the verbs are used in singular, that is why we need to change the subject this time. It should not be genotypes, it should be genotype. Alright, not genotypes. So 4 has a problem, the genotypes of organisms. So this was a trick question. All this while, what were we doing? We were working on the verbs. But this question required us to work on the subject, and that is why the answer option was 4, the genotypes of organisms. Okay, so slowly we will work on the concepts. We will start working on the concepts. How to improve vocabulary. Alka, vocabulary, you want to improve your vocabulary? Let me give you a medicine for it. Okay, read, and the third step, read. Okay, when you read, you come across a set of words every day, right? Reading is one of the most important ways to improve vocabulary. Also, I always suggest my students to buy this book, Norman Lewis, right? The name of the book is Word Power Made Easy. So if you can work on this book, believe you me, you will have more than 1,000+ words in your kitty. And there are many online resources. But we have to do our basics right. And when we talk about basics, right, there is no substitute to reading. Okay, subscribe to a good English daily and try to read every day. Your reading time should not be less than 15 minutes a day. And slowly you can, build on the time frame, right? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So the moment you hit, 20 odd minutes ka reading time per day, you are on. I have this book, Hardly matters, Shreya. Even if it is 2009 edition, that's fine. I have the 2000 edition. So nothing to worry about. It's absolutely fantastic. All right. I hope you have enjoyed the session today, right? So if you have really enjoyed the session, don't forget to press the bell icon so that you can, we can notify you about our upcoming classes. In the next class, don't miss my next class. I will be coming up with a set of another, questionnaire, a set of questions based on subject verb agreement, and the questions are going to be trickier. Today, we dealt with some questions which were easy, right? In the next class, I will be talking about questions which are slightly trickier. So I hope to see you in my next class. Comment on the session so that I can get your feedback, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel BYJU'S Exam Prep. Wish you all the very best. God bless you and happy learning. This is Pradip Sir signing off from BYJU'S Exam Prep. Stay tuned. Bye-bye. Thank you, Alka. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you.